afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this Facebook Live broadcast for the 2018 Spring Print Trends. I'd love to see where all of you guys are joining us from, so be sure to comment in so that we can see where you're joining us from. This is going to be a very interactive class, so be sure to comment any questions that you have throughout the broadcast, because we are going to be printing a variety of different designs on a lot of different styles of fabrics. And we are going to probably get a lot of questions about some of the new products that you'll be seeing us apply. You can probably see some of the new ones on the table, but I don't want to jump the gun. I want to take some time to go into our first market that we'll be printing for, which is corporate apparel. Before we head over to the press, I just want to point out that we did do a morning show on all of the blank apparel trends that are going to be a huge hit for 2018, for the spring season for 2018. So if you do not subscribe to the morning show, we did it last Monday here on Facebook, so you guys can scroll down through our feed and you can find it there, or it was also uploaded to the Stahls TV YouTube channel, so you can see it there too. We went through a variety of different blank suppliers and the new styles and fabrics that we're just seeing really trend in our industry for spring of 2018, so be sure to check that out if you want to see more of the garments that we're going to be printing today. So we'll go ahead and head over to our Hotronix Fusion. This is our go-to press. This is the one we love working with, especially when we're printing a variety of different placements, which we'll be doing here shortly on different fabric types and different garment styles. So whenever you get into different garment styles and you're printing on them, you need to be weary of where exactly you're going to be printing them, so you can avoid buttons and seams and that sort of thing with your garments. So why the Fusion is such a good press for that is because we are working in a heat-free workspace. We can either swing the print head away, or we can lock it in place if we need to and draw out the bottom of our press. All right, so I'm going to be using the swing feature. So this is going to be a completely heat-free workspace. And what's nice is we are able to interchange these platens that you're seeing here. So that is going to make for great threadability for any of the garments that we're trying to print whenever we need to get a nice flat pressure. So I have the standard 16 by 20 platen loaded in here. The first press that we're going to be printing is actually a left chest. So I'm going to unload my 16 by 20 platen and drop in the 6 by 10. All right, so you can see that this platen is going to be ideal for printing left chest logos onto garments that have zippers or buttons. So you can see here that I'm printing a jacket for a corporate style design here. So this is the New Era brand, and this is a new brand that Sanmar is offering. So if you want to see more of their styles, we'll be showing some throughout this broadcast, but you can go on sanmar.com and check out all that they have to offer. So what I'm going to do is just unzip this and load it on to my platen here. So my zipper is going to be completely out of the way. This collar is going to be out of the way, and so is the bottom of the top of this bottom zipper here. So I have a nice flat surface. I don't have to worry about having uneven pressure or anything like that. All right, so the first product that I'm going to demo is our new CAD Cut Silicone. So this product actually works as a dye blocker, and you can see here that this is just a regular cotton poly fabric. So this isn't necessarily a fabric that we're going to need to be dye blocking anything from. So this product's going to be great for anything that you experience dye migration with, but you can also use it for high-end finishes because it is silicone. It has that rubberized thick feel on it, which is something that we see a lot in our Nike and Under Armour fabrics. All right, so before I print this, I want to just show you a little trick that we do to line this logo up so that we know it's right centered for our left chest. And what I do is just take the outer edge of my seam up here and make sure that I am centered with it. Okay, so that's going to let me know how far over I need to go from the zipper, and then I will have the ideal left chest placement there. All right, so I'm just going to cover with a cover sheet. Silicone also applies at a nice low temp. I'm going to be applying it at 300 degrees today just because I am going to be printing a variety of different things. It just makes it convenient for me. But you can find all of the application instructions that you'll need for any of the products that we're going to be pressing today on our website. So just be sure to go there under the CAD Cut tab, and you'll be able to choose and select which CAD Cut material you want to know the application instructions for. All right, so I'm going to wait for this to cool down because this is a cold peel, so I can either just take it off of the platen to get it away from the heat that is now absorbed into this rubberized silicone pad that is on the top of our platen, and I can put it on a cool surface. That's going to help with cooling that down. So I'm just going to peel this now that it's nice and cool. And it has a nice rubberized feel. It has some dimension to it too. You can see there kind of popping off of the garment more than just your regular matte finish. All right, so one thing, and we mentioned this in the morning show, is for corporate apparel, we're seeing them go more towards an office cool type of look where things are more relaxed. So this is one item that is very popular. Again, this is a new era brand, and we are upselling this by adding a product that increases the value of it because silicone is so sought after because we're seeing it in retail. By adding that to this, it just increases the profit of it. Now, what's nice is if you're going to sell this to a business that you're decorating apparel for, is selling it with a shirt that is also very popular in the apparel industry. Okay, so this is what they call a millennial pink, and this pink is very popular. We're seeing it in a ton of retail stores, and they're starting to incorporate it into corporate style workplaces. So just by pairing these together in order to show them a completed look, and we just used gray Premium Plus on this t-shirt. It's a cotton poly blend so that it's nice and soft, and it just pairs very nicely with this jacket. So this is something that you would take to a meeting that you're having with someone to show them what you can create for them. So just keep this in mind whenever you are showing your customers new things that you can create for them and print for them. This is the ideal way to represent that, okay? All right, so that completes our print for corporate wear. Now, I don't want to stay there too much because we did go over a lot of different trends there in the morning show, but just keep in mind whenever you are printing for them, they do keep their logos minimalistic whenever they're doing color, unless it is a full color logo. Obviously, we're going to use all the colors in their logo. But if it's just a one or two color, keeping things minimalistic, that really pair with the fabric nicely. So you can see that I used the gray Premium Plus on the pink t-shirt in order to accent the gray jacket. So keeping things minimalistic, not making anything pop off of the garment too much so that it's subtle and it's something they can wear every day. Okay, so like I said, they are keeping their apparel very office cool, and that's incorporating a lot of athleisure. So athleisure apparel has been around for a few years now, and it's always been kind of difficult to print because of the heat-sensitive fabrics that are incorporated into those fabrics. So 100% polyester, lycra spandex, we're seeing rayon, polyviscose, things like that. So what I want to do is show you another print trend, and doing it by printing athleisure, because we do offer heat transfer vinyl types that are able to print on these without scorching those heat sensitive fabrics. All right, so for the first application, I'm going to be printing the bottom part of our leggings here. So these leggings are a polyester, and I think a spandex. Okay, so with this, we're going to want to use a nice low temp application. So we're going to choose Premium Plus for this. All right, so I'm just going to keep the platen that I have on loaded here, and I'm just going to lay this out. So if you have the leg and sleeve platen, you can utilize that for this print as well. But I'm going to be printing the bottom portion of this leg. Okay, so whenever I'm doing this, if I were to thread this onto the leg and sleeve platen, I would risk this fabric stretching way too much. And if it is stretched over top of that platen whenever I'm applying my transfer is going to bounce back and it's just going to look very wrinkly, because Premium Plus is known for its high stretch and rebound. That's exactly what it's going to do. All right, so why I'm printing this on the back side and the bottom part of the legging is because that's a popular print that we're seeing now in retail. A lot of brands such as Nike and Under Armour are printing there in order to brand the leggings that they're selling, and they're able to upsell it because it's a unique placement. It's something people are looking for because it's retail inspired. So I just want to make sure, double check that I'm on the back side of my leggings here. And it's going to go towards the outer seam so that it's still visible, but it's still on that calf or ankle area. All right, so again, this is Premium Plus. This applies as low as 280. As I mentioned earlier, I am working at 300 degrees. This isn't going to damage this at all. All right, and keep in mind, the fusion that I'm working with is the new IQ. So it has this new control panel in there. So if I need to double check my pressure settings or anything, it's going to do that for me. But if I'm working with a variety of different materials, if I'm printing different styles of jobs, different days, I can go in here and check my presets. So right now I'm at custom because I just am printing so many different styles of heat transfer vinyls. So I'm just going to keep everything at 300. But keep in mind, as I mentioned earlier, if you don't always remember what your application instructions are, this IQ keeps them all in there for you. So if I needed to go to Premium Plus, I could just click that in there and it would start adjusting my time and temperature. All right, so Premium Plus is a cool peel. So we're going to wait for this to cool down. It was under that high heat, so I'm just going to put it on a nice cool surface in order to speed up that cool down process. All right, and then I can go ahead and peel that back. All right, so whenever you're peeling Premium Plus, especially whenever you're working on a very stretchy fabric, just be very careful in how you peel it because it tends to stretch a little bit and it may distort the transfer. So you just want to be very careful there. All right, so this is a brand for workout apparel. So that's why we went with this logo here. But you can see that unique placement on the back of those there. And this is something we're even seeing Victoria's Secret do a lot with their leggings, and they're known for all their unique placements and stuff too. A lot of people are inspired by their designs and how they offer apparel to their customers. All right, so we're going to do another unique placement on another athleisure or athletic wear type of garment. And what we're actually going to do is take a large bold print and print it down at the bottom part of the seam. So this is something that was inspired actually by Calvin Klein. So this is something that they're doing for their athleisure apparel and their workout apparel, is they're dropping the text down on cropped style fabrics and printing their logo there. All right, so what I'm going to do is load in my 11 by 15 in the landscape so that I know that I can get a nice durable print. And even here, okay, so you can see that I'm off on the edge a little bit over here. So I even need to go up one more platen. Now, if I wanted to avoid that, I could just drop down my design by a couple centimeters in order to fit it on there. So we'll use the 16 by 20. And this application is going to require a pillow because of that thick seam there. So I'm going to grab my pillow and thread that into my garment so that that seam is not keeping me from having an uneven pressure. So we'll just thread that in the garment. Right, and now because we took out our platen and we included a pillow in here, you'll know that my pressure is going to start getting very thick because there's just so much underneath there. So I'm going to test my pressure and adjust that so that we can get a nice medium pressure for our Premium Plus application. You'll notice that I'm using Premium Plus a good bit for these types of fabrics, and that's because whenever you're working with heat-sensitive fabrics, you have to use a material that's going to apply at a nice low temperature. All right, so I'm going to put this down to the bottom of the seam, cover with a cover sheet, and apply for its full application. All right, so Premium Plus will apply anywhere from 8 to 10 seconds. All right, and my time was actually set on 5 seconds, so I'm just going to lock that down for an additional 3. And it'll tell me on my screen here how much time I have on there. I'm also using a reusable cover sheet for those of you that don't know what style of cover sheet that is. I use either a reusable cover sheet or the craft paper cover sheets that look like this. All right, so we're going to wait for that to cool down. You'll notice too that in athleisure, or if you're printing for athletic wear, they're using a lot of bright colors now. So being able to incorporate styles like this is going to be a big deal to your customers because this is what they're seeing out whenever they're shopping. So you being able to offer stuff like this is going to be ideal for you and your customers. This particular garment is from J America. It has that electric style thread in it so that you're seeing a little bit of dimension in there. And it just really makes anything that you put on these styles of garments really pop off. So we'll go ahead and remove that carrier. Again, being very careful as we peel this back because we don't want to distort our graphic on there. All right, so we have a completed outfit set at this rate. We could pair this with the leggings that we printed for this particular brand. And a lot of gyms are doing this now where they're offering apparel in their gym. So this may be something that you can take to a local gym or anyone that has their own brand and show them stuff like this so they can see that you're able to print unique items for them with unique placements. And again, we kept the material colors and types very minimalistic. Premium Plus has a nice matte finish. It's very thin and lightweight. And we just did a basic black print with a white print on the black leggings. So again, anytime you're doing brands or logos or anything, just making sure you're keeping it very minimalistic so that you're not taking someone's brand and running with it and doing stuff that they may not need on their apparel. So that means even incorporating reflective material. So whenever you're printing for athleisure or fitness or local gyms or anything like that, reflective has been seen growing a lot in the apparel industry because we see Nike doing it. So brands like that are going to be wanting to incorporate the same style of finish. So whenever you are printing reflective, it is ideal for you to print unique placements with that as well, because whenever we see reflective incorporated into garments, there's always subtle little pieces of reflective. So with this garment, for example, this is also a J America style of quarter zip. You can see the piping on there with that neon punch type color, but there's also a little piece of reflective on there that you can see. It's very minimalistic, but still they incorporated that reflective because it's just enough to add a little more to the garment in order to be able to upsell it. So whenever you're thinking of the type of reflective designs that you're going to put on this, we still want to keep it minimalistic, but we want it to stand out compared to what your competitors may be printing. So whenever I looked at this garment, I just wanted to think of what we're seeing a lot in retail whenever we're printing things like that, and that is piping or striping of reflective style design trends, okay? So not necessarily printing an entire graphic in reflective, but just using a subtle piece of reflective in order to accent something that's already done on the graphic, okay? So this reflective I have cut out in order to fit this portion, And then I'm going to be customizing it even more with a actually metallic black, and that is our fashion film. So the type of heat transfer vinyl that you're seeing here, and you may be familiar with our 3M reflective heat transfer vinyl, which is ANSI certified for those people that require a type of reflective on their garments. This is very similar, it just doesn't have that ANSI certification, and so that makes it a little more economically priced and easy for you guys to upsell. So we're gonna go ahead and press this, but again, I'm gonna grab that heat printing pillow so that we don't risk not having even pressure from these seams that we're seeing there. So we'll just thread that in through the bottom. All right, and make sure that I'm positioned on here correctly. This has a nice tacky carrier, so it typically will stay in place after you're messing with it a little bit. All right, I'm gonna cover with my cover sheet and apply for its full application. And again, if I needed to go to my presets and choose reflective 2 on here, I could do that, but I'll just be working at that 300-degree mark for today's applications. Right, reflective 2 is also a nice hot peel, and because of that tacky carrier, we are able to get nice intricate designs if we need to. So if you're using reflective and you have to do a mascot that is very intricate, you're able to do that because that tacky carrier allows for easy weeding and being able to do intricate type of designs. All right, so I'm just going to peel my carrier back. All right, and then I'll go in with my fashion film customization piece, which is just Run, which is a popular style to put on any type of athleisure or athletic wear. So again, we're keeping it minimalistic. This is technically kind of like a tone-on-tone style of design because it's almost like a barely there feel and look. So we'll cover with our cover sheet and apply that. Fashion film typically applies at 320 degrees for 15 to 20 seconds. All right, and I'm just going to tack that there for about 5 seconds so that I can peel this carrier back, because you may not be able to see it on the camera, but anytime you are putting a heat transfer vinyl and that Mylar carrier is going over something that was already applied, it'll actually create a little bit of a box. So just by tacking that and then covering again with the cover sheet and applying it for its full application, that will minimize any risk of that happening, because we don't want to give our customer something that's damaged from our application. At that rate, it may just be unsellable also. All right, so our garment is complete. I'm gonna go ahead and put that up to the GoPro, try to get some light to hit it so you can see that reflective look on there. You can see it reflecting a little bit, but when the light hits it, it just shines so bright. There we go. Yeah, so you can see that really reflecting on there, right? Okay, so that is the front style, and again, just by adding something minimalistic in order to increase sales for that, just accenting what is already done on the front, you can actually do a lot with the type of garment that you're printing. So that's what's important about looking at your suppliers and seeing what all they offer, because styles of garments like that are just selling like crazy right now because it's very retail inspired. And what's nice about your garment supplier, they're typically keeping the printer or embroiderer in mind whenever they're manufacturing it, so that you're able to get prints on there easily. We'll go ahead and do our next application. Okay, so our application that we're doing next is a foil print. So foil is still very popular. This is something that we're seeing a lot in retail still. It has been around for quite a while. And we have a product known as Adhesive that allows us to adhere foil with it being more durable. So typically foil is used with a screen print process, which isn't as durable. So having this adhesive transfer is going to allow us to get a very durable print. So this is tested up to 25 washes and it holds true on there. All right, so you will see in this print that we are seeing a negative and a positive of our graphic. This is something that's very popular when it comes to spirit wear or any type of sports inspired shirt. All right, so this garment is a New Era brand. So that's that popular new brand that Sanmar just incorporated into their offering. But for this adhesive application, there is a unique way to apply this, and that it's different than any of the other styles of heat transfer vinyl that we apply. Whenever we apply this adhesive, we're going to apply it at 300 degrees at a nice light pressure for just 5 seconds. So anytime you're working with adhesive, you want to make sure that you are going very lightly on the pressure so that we are not creating any pinholes in it. Pinholes are created in the adhesive whenever there's too much pressure, and that happens because the adhesive is a very thin product. So if we go too hard on the pressure, we're going to start seeing little fibers of our garment start to punch through that. So you want to make sure you're doing a nice light pressure on there. All right, and I'm going to be doing a tone-on-tone effect so you can see this blue tank. I'm going to be taking a navy style of foil on there. And I'm going to apply this piece at a nice firm pressure. So that will read anywhere between a 7 and a 9, and it's going to apply for 10 seconds. So we'll decrease our time there. So whenever you're working with any of the Hottronic styles of heat presses, if you are wondering what your pressure will read out at if you're at light versus firm, light's going to read anywhere between 1 and 3, and the firm pressure is going to read anywhere between 7 and 9. Foil is a cold peel, so we're going to wait for that to cool down. All right, so again, just to reiterate, if you're working with adhesive and foil, adhesive applies at a light pressure for 5 seconds at 300 degrees, and our foil applies at a firm pressure anywhere between a 7 and a 9 at 8 to 10 seconds at 300 degrees. All right, so once this is cooled down, I can go ahead and peel my sheet back. And you can see that the foil applied exactly where we laid that adhesive down. You can see where it was completely knocked out of this foil sheet. All right, so it's nice to be able to do tone-on-tone looks with foil because it'll still pick up under the light. And I'll go ahead and turn this around so that you can see that application. All right, so it gives it kind of not only a metallic look, but also that wet type of look whenever you're using it as a tone-on-tone effect. All right, and we'll go ahead and get into our second to last application of the day, and it's going to be another spirit wear look. And we're actually going to be incorporating a new fashion film color, which is the same that we used on the run garment that we did earlier, and that is fashion film metallic black. All right, so you can see that that is in the striping here, and I'm utilizing the striping because that's something that we see a lot in our garment styles is striping and piping styles in our graphics. All right, so I'm going to use that as a background layer, and then we're going to be direct layering that with other fashion film colors. So fashion film is a layerable material. All right, whenever I load this on, just making sure that this seam is off towards the edge a little bit. I'm going to make sure I'm getting nice and center. All right, so whenever I am layering fashion film, I just tack it for a couple seconds for each color that I'm applying. All right, so this is my first layer. This is the metallic black. I'm just going to tack that for a couple seconds and go ahead and peel that hot. All right, so the reason that I'm tacking that is because it allows me to not only speed up my production, but be able to layer different materials in there with it so that I'm able to use different colors and my graphic's actually not going to be shrinking. So if you've ever worked with heat transfer vinyl and experienced your registration not lining up correctly, it's because that material actually was starting to shrink underneath that high heat. And that happens from it being under there for a long dwell time. So just keep that in mind whenever you're layering materials and you need to not only speed up your production, but using the tacking method is going to keep that from shrinking and not being able to line up correctly for your registration. All right, and this application is our metallic. Okay, so we used our metallic black, we used our electric blue, and now we are using metallic silver. So I'm using a lot of electric and metallics because that's something that is very popular in the spirit wear industry. Okay, so I'm doing what's technically called a drop shadow with the electric blue and then layering that metallic silver right over top. All right, for this application, again, I'm just going to tack because I don't want that Mylar carrier to dig into the heat transfer vinyl that was pressed prior to this application. So once I remove that carrier, I can cover with my cover sheet and apply for its full application so that I know I'm getting a nice durable transfer on there. All right, so I'm just going to hit this for 5 seconds just in order to speed up time so we can get to our next application, but it will apply at 15 to 20 degrees for fashion film. All right, so you can see that finish on there using metallic black, electric blue, and silver. Okay, so the hoodie that I am printing on is not technically a hoodie actually, and this is also another J America blank, but this is a scuba neck hood. All right, so it's a sweatshirt that has a scuba neck on there, and it's a very popular trend in the apparel industry right now. Okay, so before we get into our last application, just want to make sure that I'm answering all the questions. Eric had asked, Under Armour, is there a place that you recommend purchasing Under Armour from a distributor? I do not know of one currently. I actually am lacking information on where you can purchase Under Armour or Nike. So if any of you guys watching are aware of a supplier that sells these types of garments, please comment in and let us know. Is that the only question? What about printing on sublimation camo? Okay, so if you are printing on a camo shirt that was sublimated, that's whenever you want to use any type of heat transfer vinyl that has a dye blocker in it. So earlier we were talking about silicone. That is a dye blocker. We also offer another new product that we featured on the morning show a couple times. That is AquaTrue. AquaTrue is a screen print flooded sheet that you can actually print in your vinyl or cut in your vinyl cutter, so that you're getting a nice screen print finish, but you're also able to block dyes from migrating through. So that's AquaTrue dye block, silicone dye block, and then thermofilm also blocks dye migration as well. Okay. All right. So we've answered those questions. Let's go ahead and get into our last application. So earlier you saw this Bella Canvas t-shirt printed with rose gold fashion film. Okay, so this is another new color that we offer. We just brought onto the fashion film line, and this has been so popular in our colors for 2018. So this would be a great time to start incorporating that because we're getting into spring, and that's where a lot of these prints are going to be very popular for. So whenever you are thinking of new niches or new markets that you want to reach out to for spring, printing for bridal parties, for bachelorette parties, this is going to be like prime time to start selling and offering these, because this is the time of year where they start doing a lot of their trips or what have you for the upcoming wedding. All right, so I'm using this t-shirt from Bella Canvas. And it is a tri-blend. So I'm just going to be threading this onto my 16 by 20 platen. as you can see, this kind of has a sheer tone to it. So I'm not going to have to worry about it scorching too much underneath that high heat because it's really not going to show on this style of garment. Now, if I was printing on a tri-blend where I'd have to worry about high heat, that's when I would want to use my Premium Plus style heat transfer vinyl because it applies to that nice low temp that's not going to damage that heat sensitive fabric. All right, so we printed the t-shirt for the bride, and now we want to print the t-shirt for the bride's crew. Okay, so we have our rose gold that we're putting on a blush styled fabric, so it gives that tone on tone effect. But because this rose gold is a metallic finish, it's really going to still pop off of that garment. So we'll go ahead and apply that. And we offered an additional 10 other different colors to fashion film, so be sure to check those out. We offer a Bahama blue that's very similar to Tiffany blue, and we incorporated mint as well, so be sure to check those out. Those are some colors that we see being very big for 2018. All right, so you can see that finish on there and how that would just really sell to a bride and her group for any type of activities that they're going to be doing for the wedding. All right, so that completes our applications for today's broadcast. Before we head out, I want to let you guys know about a hands-on broadcast that we're going to be doing at our showroom. So our showrooms are located in Texas, Corona, Arizona, and Florida. And we are going to start doing workshops with you guys so that you guys can come in and ask questions in person and just be able to do some hands-on with our specialists that know all the ins and outs for this industry. Okay, so our first one is February 21st. It's from 1 to 4, and it's a complete guide to start heat printing team uniforms. All right, so every month we're going to be doing these, so just stay tuned. They'll be up on our website if you want to go on there and register. But those are the locations, and as you can see on there, seating's limited, so make sure that you get on there as soon as you can in order to register. All right, and just a couple more questions before we head out. Heat printing on fleece beanies. There are some that you can print, making sure that you're using a product that applies at a low temperature. I know that Sanmar offers a brand that are able to print because I've actually printed them, but you just need to be careful because some do have an acrylic content in them and it will melt underneath the high heat. So just being able to trial and error different styles of beanies will be helpful there. AquaTrue is on the website now for sale, yes. And the style number for the scuba neck hoodie, if it's not listed on the hoodie, it is. It is 8673, all right, and it's a fleece cow neck hoodie. All right, so that completes today's broadcast. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and we'll see you Monday on the morning show.